You all know who I am. So let's get started right away. You would not believe how people treat you differently depending on your clothing. It's such an external issue, but I have found that, it does matter to a certain point. I mean, you could get to a point where really don't care. You just want to get from point A to point B. But I have seen that it does make a slight difference in how we dress, in how our wheelchair looks, in how you know and how we look. So, I did this kind of like experimental through an entire year in which, I would dress one way and another to see what impact it had. And I think that, one of the things that I found is it doesn't matter the fanciness of the clothes. That's not what people are looking at. I think what they're looking at the most is that that the clothes be clean, and that's like the bottom line. That the clothing is clean and decent. I don't know what different people have different perceptions of what you know clean is or decent. What you think is decent might be different from another person. But I think just the basic position here, I think, is to have clean clothes and somewhat, that matches a little bit. Uh, but that would be the basics. And you might say, Lisa, clothes are very expensive. I can't afford it. And that's for all of us. Some of my clothes I've bought, downstairs in our building. We have something called the white elephant, and it has all kinds of stuff from dishes to clothing to shoes to everything, and it's for sale. You get something for $1 or maybe $3. Depending on the item. So it's kind of fun on Thursdays to go downstairs and see what's available. But truly, the effort we can put into dressing clean. I think if the clothes are clean and somewhat match, you'll receive more respect, and that shouldn't be at all, but that's what happens out there. So if you have to change some of your items, your clothing items, you know, put some time into it. If you have some time, or for someone who knows you well to get you a new T-shirt, just a white T-shirt and some black joggers, does great, or gray joggers. So, or and somebody might be colorblind, but you can have somebody mix and match your clothes in your closet, so you can just grab them and know that they match somewhat and they go together. That's the key, that they go together. So not so much that they perfectly match. So I have discovered that just being, clean clothes and some joggers, because usually I don't wear slacks, but some clean joggers, I do well. And people look up to me and ask me questions, and they trust the conversation with me if my clothes are, decent. I know that, sometimes you might say, Lisa, I just struggled to get out of bed. Forget about the clothing. And I get it. I get it. Um, but to have, two, three pieces that go together and that are clean when you use them, not with spots or with spills. I have a person who washes my clothes, and she is desperate to get off spots. Because sometimes I drop some food on my clothes, and that's it, you know. So she washes it, and then she washes out the spot, then she washes it again, so to make sure everything is clean. So, and I certainly appreciate that, because I don't know if I'd be able to do that or not, but that's kind of like key. Clean and somewhat matches. And you will see a difference in how people treat you. The moment, one of your clothing has a burn or a spot on it, or, spilled whatever, then things seem to go downhill for the other person. So it's crazy, but that's how they behave. So, that's what I've discovered. This blouse sometimes gets a little spot on it, and then, and sometimes I just don't have the energy to change it when I have to go out. But I know that just being clean, just having, that it somewhat matches together, the shirt and the jogger, I'm good to go. So, people treat me differently.
This is a reminder.
And so this is kind of like you might say this is a silly topic, but in reality it isn't. When you go to the doctors, they're going to treat you differently, if you have something that's all spotty, all dirty, versus just a clean shirt or a clean blouse and some joggers or some slacks or a skirt. They'll say, this person really worked at it. They took a shower, whatever it was, and, they're shaved, or they put on some makeup, so they really tried to get out there. Now, I never use makeup, but some ladies do, and that's fine. That's great. I never use makeup, so it's not my thing, to put on makeup. I am allergic to a lot of things, so I don't want to end up with my face all swollen and that kind of thing. So I keep it simple. I keep it clean. I put on a clean sweater or whatever it might be. Try some things. What would you like? What is your taste? What is your style? Mine is more sporty, I think, or semi, business type thing. So figure out, what is your style? Is it rock and roll? So I wouldn't go out too far with the clothing, but as long as I see that, it's all clean and decent, I think people treat you with respect, and they approach you and they ask you questions, and, sometimes it'll happen that I've been with a caregiver and I've dribbled something or I've stained something on my shirt, and they'll work with the caregiver rather than myself because I have a stain somewhere because I dribbled something on myself. So then they're not sure my state of mind that day. It's ridiculous, but it happens. So I'm just saying in this video that being just decent, simple, well-dressed, and well-dressed can mean sporty, well-dressed can mean, you don't have to be formal when you go to the doctor, but or to another visit of some kind, but, clean and well put together is what I meant. Well put together. And that in itself will change the perception or how people approach you. It is weird, but it does happen. Now, some of the things that we need to remember for ourselves is not to wear tight clothes. that can cause some issues, some health issues for some of us. Um, so you don't want to wear something that's really tight. You want to wear something that's comfortable for you. For my legs, I wear compression socks, but my slacks or my joggers are loose and soft. My skin is hypersensitive, so wearing something soft is really important for me because otherwise my skin just explodes in pain. So I can't explain that one, but that's the way it happens for me. So I'm always looking for things that are soft, that are airy, that I won't get overheated, that I won't get cold either. I don't do well in heat, so my clothes need to be airy. Shoes and socks, just the same thing. And the shoes need to be comfortable. I use rubber, no, not rubber, but elastic shoelaces. And so I tie them loose. So just so my foot fits in there and it's comfortable, that it's not tight. My shoes, when they're tight, of course, they're going to cause me pain. So I'm careful in terms of how much pressure the shoe has on my foot. And then it looks good. It can be red tennis shoes for all I care. But as long as they're clean, people will show you respect. So it's an emotional, psychological thing that people have out there. So could I explain it? No. Should they behave that way? No. They need to show the same respect to you as to someone who comes in really dirty and just torn clothes and whatever. They should show them respect just as they show me respect. But that's not what happens. And that's unfortunate. So I'm just saying that to increase your odds of interacting better with people, go to the store and get a few items, and they can be one or two, good sets of clothing that you're going to use those when you go out. That can be at Goodwill, that can be at another clothing store that sells really cheap clothing that might fit that you like, or go to another store that sells, just packaged T-shirts and that are your size that you like, and go for it. Play around with your clothes a little bit and see what you can improve or that you can change around. This is not my style, so I'm going to work at it. So this is a project, really, to figure out, to think for yourself, what kind of clothing do you like that are comfortable for you. We have to be in a wheelchair, and we want to be comfortable. It's hard enough to be able to be switching back and forth and having to get out to get in. And when you're sitting in your chair, you want to be comfortable. So that includes your clothing. So I can't say this is the best style, or these are the best shirts, or these are the best blouses. No. Everyone has their style and their likes and their dislikes. So I want to put it out there for all of us. I have a person who's coming in a few minutes to give me a piece of clothing. So she's figured out what I like and what I don't like. So sometimes I get little pieces without having to go out and buy stuff. So that's kind of fun. So this one was donated to me, and but I've purchased the joggers that I have, and I usually just use joggers because I need something soft and something that is airy for me. And now that it's becoming winter, I pull out my winter joggers. So, and I gotta go look for them, make sure they're ready for the next appointments and outings that I might have. So that's what I wanted to say today. Think about it. Think about your style, where you could go to get a few pieces of clothing if the ones you have are already ratty and you need to upgrade or change, or you couldn't get out those spots from XYZ shirt that you like so much. So, and let's show the world that we can handle our clothing. I just got a donation of clothing for me and just one blouse fit. But it was the intention of that person, and I'm very grateful. And so I have one more blouse that I can wear. So that's the deal, to look for donations or go to Goodwill or go to other places. Sometimes you'll find a clothing store that's called, Clothing Shack or something that they sell at a much lower price. All right, people, just wanted to share that. So that is what I wanted to put out today, and I'm hoping it was helpful to some of you. But I'm telling you that torn clothes and with the spots and everything else it turns people off. Maybe, I don't know if I could say turns them off, but it does change their behavior. And you might say, Lisa, you know what? I don't care. And that's okay too. But let's try a little bit to upgrade our clothing to something that is comfortable for us and that is clean and decent to go out, to our get-togethers or to our appointments or just a ride in the bus. All right, folks, I'm going to post the last video that I also did on clothing, which is very different from this one. So feel free to take a look at that one down below. And I will be kind, as always, be kind and good to others. And I will see you in the next video down below.